Since the beginning of time, there has been an invisible force guiding those who dare to dream bigger. This journey is not for the faint of heart, but for those who are ready to take up the challenge and make their mark on history. Each of us has a special role to play, and each of us has the potential to do something extraordinary. The path may be strewn with obstacles, and the challenges may seem insurmountable, but with faith in your heart and determination in your soul, you can overcome any obstacle. The key is to never give up, keep fighting, and remember that the goal is worth the effort. Our existence is not an accident, but a part of a great plan. From the very beginning, long before we were born, our names were inscribed in the book of life, and we were loved unconditionally. In moments of doubt and despair, when we seem alone, it is important to remember that we are never alone. Even in the darkest times, when the pain becomes unbearable, there is hope for healing. Love has the power to heal the deepest wounds and erase painful memories. The past may be full of mistakes and regrets, but it doesn't have to determine our future. We are given the opportunity to let go of sad experiences and make a fresh start. We should not indulge in painful memories because the past only rekindles old wounds and makes us sad. It is much more important to realize the value of the present moment because there are still so many bright prospects ahead. Cherished dreams are sure to come true. The goals will be achieved, and once again, we'll be able to see their loved ones happy. It may even be possible to regain the former strength and energy. It is necessary to look to the future, where the sprouts of positive changes are already breaking through and real miracles are happening. It is worth preparing for an exciting new chapter of life, because the heart is open to new adventures and the happiness that comes from the realization of its usefulness. It is necessary to leave behind former offenses, for they no longer have power. All mistakes are forgiven and the debt is atoned for. If someone is not ready to accept or forgive, then it is time to find new friends who can appreciate the true nature. It is unacceptable for anyone to disrespect the goodness and freedom that the Spirit gives. One should not stay in situations that are depressing or embarrassing. It is important to listen only to oneself and guard one's freedom from those who misuse words in an attempt to exert control. When in the grip of circumstances like imprisonment, an individual must remember their freedom and the need to protect those who depend on them, especially their children. Walking away from such a situation will surely bring gratitude in the future. The caring and importance of this personality in the life of another person is on full display. But if she consciously chooses to remain surrounded by those who do not give proper respect and support, one should not expect any positive change. It is important to do your part and exercise wisdom and responsibility. The life and well-being of the family will remain jeopardized as long as the person is in a vicious cycle of pain and humiliation. Such suffering is not in keeping with the dignity of the person. The one who offers help has already proved his concern by giving the ultimate sacrifice. Now he asks what more he can do, urging to ask for anything and promising to respond with miracles beyond the wildest expectations. The key issue, however, is faith. There is no desire to see this individual treading water. She is invited to leave her familiar environment and travel to the promised land where blessings pour down like rain and springs of sustenance gush from the earth. With the deepest tenderness and care, it addresses everyone who is ready to hear. You are a unique creature. If only it were possible to feel the fullness of feelings that overwhelm him, to see oneself through the eyes of a loving heart and realize the greatness of the spiritual world. Looking into this mirror of the soul, everyone would kneel in gratitude, sacrificing their time, devotion, thoughts, and smiles. And then, rising with a new sense of love for life, one would set out to conquer the promised lands that were destined for him. The chains that restrained him must be broken, for the courage put into his soul by his voice would give strength. Finally, the realization would come that, thanks to his sacrifice and resurrection, everyone is already the victor in all things. His doors are always open, inviting one to come and speak with a grateful and humble heart. He is ready to show love like no other. He invites you to come and sit next to him, to look in his direction with eyes full of faith. Everyone is incredibly blessed and has full access to his power. Everything he has belongs to everyone as promised and recorded. It is always worth remembering there is an inexhaustible source of support to turn to. It is promised that the petitioner will not go unanswered and will be nourished with the best gifts. It is important not to lose presence of mind, for a significant role lies ahead. The love felt for everyone is immeasurable and boundless, although its full realization may not be available at the moment. It is necessary to believe in this love, to feel it and move forward in faith, knowing that the source of this love will never deceive and will always be there. One is sincerely assured of deep love and no desire to see suffering. One can see the hardships one faces as one feels exhaustion. Attempts are made to hide the pain, striving to appear strong, but the source of love understands him more deeply than he understands himself. The mirror can be deceived, but one's true self, spirit, and heart are always in plain sight. Even while being brave, one can come forward and share what is weighing on one's mind. One should not be afraid to discuss one's anxieties. Every tear will be caught and everyone will be lifted. There is no need to doubt. One should give one's worries and they will be carried for the person. Being the one who is cared for brings many blessings and miracles that will touch him and his family deeply. When promises are fulfilled in a person's life, it brings him genuine joy and deep satisfaction. The higher powers never leave him. His guardian angels are vigilant for his well-being, protecting him from troubles and misfortunes. Every morning, turning in prayer to the Almighty, a man notices how his day is transformed, filled with divine love and peace. Sudden difficulties and trials should not be frightening. It is enough to turn to him and he will show the right path, helping to make a wise decision. He gives the necessary insight and sends signs to guide a person, to strengthen his confidence in the right direction. It should be remembered that the Most High always wants only the best for his creatures, for they are worthy of it. As long as man's heart remains faithful to him and filled with good intentions, his requests will be heard and fulfilled according to his will. Man is a child of Almighty God, and he is always near, so no one can oppose or harm him. With loving guidance at every step, he opens new horizons, and whatever is done in his name will be blessed. Fate promises an inexhaustible stream of prosperity and triumph in affairs when a higher power is present. Cherished dreams and ambitious plans will blossom into a lush flower, because only the all-seeing eye is able to unmistakably predict the future. The family hearth will be illuminated by divine light, and hard work will turn into a bountiful harvest, because the Almighty Creator is always near. Trouble and adversity will not dare to approach the dwelling, because it is enveloped by invisible protection, driving away evil spirits, serious illnesses, vicissitudes of fate, anger, and sadness. The family is under the indefatigable protection of the Holy Spirit. A vow of fidelity, inviolable forever and ever, has been made. It must be remembered that faith, like a tiny mustard seed, can sprout into a giant tree. In the same way, a man led by faith will reach unprecedented heights. The word has such power that a mere command, uttered in the name of a higher power, will move mountains. There should be no doubts, for the Creator is the only true God, unshakable at all times. He will never leave alone and will love forever. He knows every particle of the soul, feelings, thoughts, and actions, and therefore knows that man is worthy of the boundless love he is ready to offer. The Creator of the universe addresses everyone, reminding them that it is He who created man in His own likeness and knows him better than anyone else. He urges us to leave behind feelings of hatred and revenge, suggesting instead that we offer prayers for those who have wronged us, so that they may find their way to the divine light. Their lives may be devoid of the divine word and commandments, but the Creator asks that they be left in His care, promising to work miracles, touch their hearts, and reveal the truth. Instead of wasting time on trifles, one should focus on the divine promises and gifts. The Creator accompanies every human being from the moment of birth and even long before, or witnessing his growth in all his trials. He celebrates man's courage and offers his support to give strength to move forward. He asks only to believe in him and keep a strong faith, promising to completely transform a person's life. The wounds of the past will be healed and the suffering will end. A new day, a new moment is coming. Hands must be lifted up, the heart must be opened, and life must begin anew, filled with joy, for the coming year will bring change. If one accepts this love, the Creator will give him strength and drive away all fears. There is an immutable truth. Every trial a person faces carries a deep meaning, and a period of hardship is always followed by a bright streak. The author encourages the reader to look at himself through the eyes of a loving person, emphasizing his significance and value. Successes and failures do not affect unconditional love, which only grows stronger. All the hardships experienced are stepping stones leading to something amazing that awaits not only the person himself, but also his family. Instead of wasting precious time criticizing loved ones, it is worth remembering that everyone is in the process of growth and development. People are changing, transforming, and those who are close to you today may become completely different tomorrow. Higher powers are working on their transformation. It is necessary to continue to pray because hard times are not eternal. Happiness will surely return to the family, and peace and harmony will reign in the house. However, first of all, you should turn to the higher powers with your concerns and prayers. You should not let anything cloud your life and deprive you of joy. It is important to speak kindly and avoid words that may hurt those around you. It is important to remember that each family member is unique, and you should not compare them to each other or hurt their feelings. Of course, there are rules in any home that need to be followed, but yelling and insults should be avoided. For trying to change the situation in the family, you need to find inner peace. It is worth taking the time to pray to get support and be filled with hope and strength. Higher powers will help offer loved ones guidance based on love. Support will be provided constantly, even while you sleep. Through teachings, guidance will be available to dream of a bright future that is destined. Awakening will be filled with Hawaiian strength, allowing one to calmly overcome any difficulties. The higher forces will not allow a collision with impossible tasks, but if it seems that the burden is too great, you need to believe in your strength and continue to move forward, because victory is close at hand. It is necessary to just get up and walk without complaining or crying. A few more steps and you will be rewarded for your persistence, the prize for your faithfulness, and the fruits of your efforts. This is his way of expressing his appreciation for unwavering loyalty and willingness to face any challenge with honor, determination, and dignity. He bestows the power to overcome any obstacle, to crush lies and evil, ensuring protection from all harm. He seeks to see his followers filled with confidence and unshakable faith in the prosperity to come. This faith, this spark of confidence given every morning, brings him great joy. As a reward, he promises to reveal many miracles that will transform their lives. His care is profound, and he encourages one to remember. This when reflection turns to a bright future. He encourages one not to fear life's challenges, not to shy away from difficulties, and to face any conflict with courage. Under his guidance and with his support, one can face any challenges with confidence. He asks only one thing: to remain steadfast, not to give in to emotions, and not to let illnesses stop you on your way to your goal. He is their healer, tireless guardian, generous provider, and loyal supporter. He provides for all their needs, multiplies the fruits of their labor, strengthens their faith as if building an impregnable fortress, and balances their thoughts with clarity and serenity. Above all, today he imprints in their hearts an unshakable confidence, an unshakable faith that his love for them has no bounds and no limits. Even in moments of stumbles and mistakes, when they stumble on life's path, his love remains unchanged, eternal, and all-encompassing, always ready to come to the rescue in all endeavors. Their life is an exciting journey full of delightful surprises, abundant opportunities, and continuous growth that inevitably leads to great accomplishments. Their faces illuminated by the light of faith and their confident smiles are like beacons that illuminate everyone around them. Their interactions with others, especially family members, serve as a reflection of his power and love, clearly demonstrating the wonders he is able to work in those who entrust their hearts to him. He assures them today that every challenge they face on their journey has a purpose, so they should not be afraid or allow anxiety to cloud their spirits. May they continue their journey with unwavering determination, for he is always there, offering his love, peace, boundless patience, and unwavering fortitude, filling their existence with walking in serenity, like a calm harbor in a stormy sea. His love for this man was boundless, and his unwavering steadfastness was admirable. He called upon him for strength, and he responded with extraordinary power, overcoming all obstacles with valor, surpassing even the most daring expectations. His actions were a vivid demonstration of loyalty and faithfulness. He took great pleasure in seeing the seeds he had sown sprouting lushly and bearing wonderful fruit. He assured that only bright and joyful times lay ahead. He would surpass all his aspirations and dreams, moving confidently towards a horizon full of blessings and happiness. He knew that at times his outlook would change and his emotions would fade as he faced the envy and resentment coming even from those who claimed to love him. Instead of seeing the good in him, they are constantly looking for ways to hurt him, raking up the past and resurrecting memories to hurt and break his spirit. But today, heeding his words, he must make an important decision. Just as he had shown his faith and strength in the most difficult moments, he must also adopt a winning attitude. Don't let anyone undermine your desire for good, and don't let other people's opinions influence your feelings. Believe in the truth of your words and stick to the promises you make. It is important to remember that you are not alone. Love is all around you, and it can stand up to anyone who tries to shake your faith or make you doubt yourself. Therefore, when you are overcome by difficulties, when you are confronted with disagreements, when you feel tired or confused, when your spirit is low, let go of all negative thoughts. Make time for respite and solitude where you can find peace and hope. No matter how difficult the problems seem, they do not diminish your importance because you are protected. It is important to realize that the source of the problems is not patronage, but there is a firm promise to lead you out of them. No one wants you to face challenges beyond your strength. Difficulties are given to the best of your ability, and there will always be help to relieve the heavy burden. It is important that you do not feel lonely or sad. The destined future is illuminated by the light of hope, but there will be those who will envy this radiance and try to mar the joy. It is important to remember that only the man himself determines his reaction to what is happening, and his faith is like a blade that can cut through any obstacles. Negative thoughts and feelings, penetrating into the consciousness, can pull to the bottom of despair. But if the spiritual beginning will be put in the forefront, the victory is inevitable. The higher powers have fulfilled their role by granting salvation and preparing the triumph. But now the responsibility for further lies on the shoulders of man himself. He will have to show fortitude and courage, as he has done before. Now is the time to realize that he is on the threshold of reaching the spiritual level where miracles become commonplace. There is no turning back, for a great journey has been made, and past efforts, tears, and struggles cannot be allowed to go to waste. At this point, it is not worth paying attention to how much the family appreciates the effort. The main thing is to focus on the goal at hand. Faith and decision-making power can overcome any obstacles, giving courage and determination. Many people give up on their dreams and lament their situation, but a different future is in store for this person. A supreme presence surrounds him, and his spirit reigns in his home. The gates of heaven will open over you, and streams of blessings and bountiful gifts will pour down upon you, filling your home with the light of joy and peace. Hearts sincerely striving for spiritual enlightenment will find long-awaited forgiveness and achieve harmonious unity with the higher beginning. Do not give in to fears and doubts, because the divine presence is always near, protecting and guiding. There is no need to worry too much, for the Almighty God is always ready to help. He will give inexhaustible strength, will provide all-round support, and will be a reliable support in any endeavor. Blessings are sent down from heaven so that divine goodness may be manifested in every family and spread to friends, relatives, and neighbors, illuminating their lives and homes. Each will be a conduit of healing for the many people with whom fate brings him or her together. This amazing journey of spiritual transformation begins right now, and so the call is sounded to open your heart to the divine word each morning. It is important to remember all the miracles we have already seen, how the divine word has helped in the most difficult times when it seemed that there was no strength to move on. The divine presence was felt close by throughout the journey of life. It is not worth turning back and forgetting all the results that have been achieved. From now on, there will be more blessings on the path of life, but it is important to greet each morning with gratitude, with an open heart, listening to the divine words. This day marks the end of storms and hardships. All problems are in the past. Like a light breeze, the breath of an invisible force glides across the sky, dispersing the clouds that obscure the light. A new day is dawning, full of hope and opportunity. From now on, every step will be confident, on solid ground, heading towards blessings, finding long-awaited peace and boundless happiness. Attentive to every whisper of the soul, an invisible presence always near, ready to support and comfort. Prayers ascend like beautiful melodies, and sorrows are transformed into joy. Pain gives way to triumph. Never question words filled with truth, for promises are like a fait accompli. It is impossible to imagine how far this invisible presence is willing to go for the sake of those who are dear, for its love is immense and beyond imagination. In the embrace of this love, protection are found. The home is filled with blessings, and life blossoms under the bountiful rain of grace. Each morning will be filled with gratitude for all the good that surrounds. Birdsong will greet the new day, and awakening will be filled with the journey of contemplating good deeds and the beauty of the world. Great changes are coming, a time to savor the fruits of tireless work and courage on life's journey. In the darkest of times, these people have shown unwavering fortitude, keeping their faith as a bright beacon of hope. Their every prayer, every hymn of praise, every word of thanksgiving, and every plea reached heaven. The heart is filled with deep feeling when even in moments of greatest trial, they found the strength to express their gratitude. The children's sincere faith, their trust, even when circumstances seem insurmountable, their words to the Almighty fill the soul with inexpressible joy. These words of love, spoken from the heart, are the most precious recognition, the evidence of their sincerity and devotion. The hour of triumph is at hand, and no doubt should shake their confidence. They will soon witness days illumined with the light of blessings. While others have been careless, they have prayed and labored unceasingly, and now it is time for them to eat the fruits of their steadfast faith and grateful hearts. The gates of heaven will open, and the abundant rain of happiness will pour down upon them. Divine love surrounds them like an invisible defense, and the desire to bless them knows no bounds. This desire does not depend on their fleeting feelings or emotions. In their search for the divine, they will always find it near them. Even when discord and loneliness try to darken their souls, when they feel abandoned, let them know that the divine is always there, ready to support and comfort them. Once he was there, he is here now, and his presence will be an unfailing companion in the onward journey of life. Therefore, one should not indulge in despair in times of trial, but only turn to him without heeding the false speeches that may come from those around him. He feels deep love. His words are part of himself, and their value is immeasurably higher than they can imagine. He will never leave them and will always remain by their side. Through faith and unwavering determination, they have already overcome many hardships and have persevered through tough times. They have witnessed seemingly impossible things become reality because they have remained faithful to their faith, his words, and his love. Now one has to wonder who will be able to stop them. He is the one who determines their future, and he wants them to boldly move forward and claim their rights to the spiritual blessings prepared for them here on earth. He is the Almighty, and they are the precious members of his family, the brave souls of whom he is proud. He has sent his angels to guard them so that they can live without fear or disease. Immense happiness lies ahead of them. They will exult in joy and gratitude for all the good things that are to come. It should be remembered that all those benefits with which a person is endowed come from a higher power, so it is necessary to remain modest and realize the source of their well-being. The higher power promises to continue to generously bestow its followers, strengthening their self-confidence and readiness to overcome any trials in life. With the support of the higher power, any difficulties will recede before its power manifested in man. It is time to proudly raise your head and leave behind all past offenses and suffering without losing faith in the higher power. One should not lose sight of the opportunities and prospects that the higher power is ready to open. One should gratefully accept the gifts and blessings that are destined from above. The higher power, as an eternal and loving God, will never abandon its followers and will continue to bestow its grace upon them. As the creator of all things, visible and invisible, the higher power gives its word that it will always be there for you, bestowing the most exquisite blessings and showing eternal love. This moment has a special significance. It is something that the higher power looks forward to. It speaks, and man listens and heeds its words. The higher power expresses its tender love, which everyone can feel in his heart. The Almighty shows his unfailing devotion to mankind, emphasizing with touching care his constant presence in everyone's life, regardless of the time of day or circumstances. He tirelessly protects his subjects, readily and generously providing everything they need, never missing an opportunity to delight the eye with the beauty of the world around them. The divine breath, flowing into life, brings peace even in the most difficult moments. Wherever a person is, he can always turn to his Creator, and this moment of mutual conversion is of great importance for both. The Lord sends the morning sun and a refreshing breeze at dawn, and his love, like a gentle warmth, envelops man, giving him strength to move forward with confidence. He is able to turn a path full of suffering into a road leading to prosperity, strengthening faith in his eternal devotion. Nothing and no one can separate man from the loving God. The Almighty knows all the hardships and privations that man has endured. He knows his past and present. Therefore, he calls for a firm hold on his promises, reminding him of his support and help in times of trouble. Man possesses life, future, and purpose because he is dear to and part of his Creator. Let the raging emotions and personal experiences not overshadow the image of the speaker, for it is today that he is addressing you to instill confidence in his abiding presence and the inviolability of the promises made, leading to the bountiful lush meadows and peaceful waters. May the fog of doubt that clouds your heart be dispelled, and may you not succumb again to the power of fear and anxiety. He is working tirelessly to build your home, your future, your personality, your innermost dreams and carefully laid plans. Trust him completely and allow him to realize what is destined for you. Fearlessly follow his example, rushing forward with confidence, knowing that he is always ready to welcome you with open arms. He is eager to lift the heavy burden from your shoulders and to wash away any negative feelings that are draining your vitality with the flow of his love. Stop fighting the inexorable course of fate or relying solely on your own strength. Immerse yourself in the life-giving flow of his Spirit and feel unprecedented safety. Take his hand and nothing can harm you, even if you find yourself in a difficult situation today. He will save you and lift you above your circumstances without defeat or humiliation. Let nothing stand in the way of self-realization. Let the life be overflowing with radiant moments and comprehensive love, so that this radiance is seen by everyone around, and that all the innermost desires of the heart are realized. Let everyone around you realize how dear and loved this person is. The author of these lines strives to lead him from the dark corners of the past to the bright path of peace and harmony, away from the vanity and worries of this world. And if today reminders of promises are sounded, it is only out of boundless love and desire for his welfare. May he dare to face his fears, for his steps will be guided along a carefully calibrated path to regain all that has been lost. Let him not forget the sacrifice made on the cross and the resurrection symbolizing triumph and greatness. He should keep away from those who seek to lead him astray and do him harm, for their only aim is to deprive him of his deserved blessings. They long to see him broken, deprived of peace, purpose, and meaning. But under the protection of the higher powers, they will not be able to make him stumble, for he will be surrounded by untiring care and love forever and ever. When man, with unshakable faith and determination, embarks on the path of following a higher power, nothing in this world can shake his connection with this divine beginning. Former transgressions and mistakes lose their significance, as if dissolved in the rays of a forgiveness. There is no place for shame, for man has a new self purified and freed from the shackles of the past. One should not dwell on the past days, which have been consigned to oblivion. It is important to live in the present without fear. Every day should begin with prayer, asking for blessings and guidance. In moments of weakness and confusion, it is necessary to remember that the higher power is always near, ready to strengthen faith, give strength, and give hope. One should not be afraid to share one's worries and concerns, for there will always be wise counsel and an answer to the questions of concern. The love of the higher power is boundless and eternal, and you can feel it right now. It has the power to crush any evil forces, heal any ailments, and break the chains of sorrow and need. Support is guaranteed in all endeavors. No one can belittle, for the supreme power exalts. No one can defeat, for she is a reliable protector. No one can curse, for she is a source of blessing. No disappointment can touch, for the Holy Spirit raises morale daily, giving confidence, enthusiasm, and happiness. When one relies entirely on the care and love of a higher power, truly believing in its abiding presence, and heeds its guidance, even the darkest times inevitably recede, especially when despair reaches its peak. At times when the hardships of life plunge us into the abyss of despair and confusion, it is necessary to listen to the inner voice, for it is the voice of Almighty God, the creator of all things, parent, mentor, friend, and master of life, who is always ready to help at the first call. It asks only for sincere devotion and unwavering faith. Trials may come in moments of weakness, but the higher power knows the inner struggle of everyone. It knows man's unwillingness to give up. If one turns to it with sincere repentance and willingness to remain faithful, he will be forgiven and given a chance for a new beginning. Even if a righteous person stumbles many times, divine mercy will invariably lift him up. The word of infinite compassion is given, for with love given from above, man will not stray from the true path. He will not become like those who live a lie, misuse the name of a higher power, or exploit others. Such people may appear pious on the outside, but inside they are full of deceit and deceitfulness. Instead, one should be vigilant and avoid the nets they set up. It should be remembered that boundless love, mercy, and forgiveness are reserved for those who are committed to the word with all their hearts. However, we should not forget the all-consuming power of fire. By protecting those who are dear, they will not be allowed to fall into the claws of the destroyer. Therefore, on this day, there is an appeal directly to the Spirit, calling to open the ear and pay attention. The desire for freedom and the thirst for healing are the primary motivations for this invocation. One must come each morning to heed the word and offer prayers, placing one's life and the fate of one's family in one's hands, relying on the miraculous designs that have been developed. We should not believe those who prophesy a fate full of misery and bitterness, who claim that the past is so bleak that no one will give it a chance, and that defeat is inevitable. One should not heed their words, for belonging has already been determined, and an abiding presence at one's side is promised. Seeing a repentant heart and sincere intentions to continue on the path, to strengthen oneself and grow, it is safe to say that there will be no return to the past. Dealing with the wicked will cease, distance from those who criticize and attack will increase, and finding good people to encourage and support will become a priority. The author seeks deep and sincere understanding from the addressee, emphasizing that his feelings exceed anything he may have heard before. He does not feel resentment, but rather wishes to see positive changes in the addressee's life. The author offers his support in gaining control over his emotions and remaining calm in all circumstances. He declares his intention to transform the addressee beyond recognition, filling his life with joy, confidence, and goodwill. Faith will be his support, reminding him of the promises he has made. Every morning, the recipient will feel the guidance of the author, guiding him on the right path and clarifying difficult issues. Protection from hidden enemies and deception, as well as from those who seek to belittle, will be assured. The addressee will feel safe under the auspices of an author concerned for his peace and well-being. In return, the author asks only for trust, loyalty, and total commitment. He does not intend to take away dreams or cause hopes to be abandoned, but only wishes to take the first place in the addressee's plans, guiding his life's journey. By embarking on the path of the future, everyone will discover extraordinary horizons, fueled by an undying and all-encompassing love. Fear of the difficulties and temptations of this world will give way to confidence, as vitality, strengthened faith, and clarity of spiritual vision will become reliable companions. This love remains steadfast despite the imperfections and trials of life, always ready to lend a helping hand and lead from the abyss of despair to the abode of spiritual power. Every human being is valuable and worthy of liberation from the shackles of suffering and hopelessness. This freedom, granted by infinite love, is not a merit, but a generous gift. Accepting this new life, free from loneliness and fear, will allow one to feel the warmth of a loving embrace and guide one into the harbor of triumph. There awaits eternal buoyancy, prosperity, and spiritual riches beyond the reach of abduction. Rejecting doubt, it is safe to say that victory is assured, backed by unbreakable promises and sealed with all-consuming love. This marvelous love that fills hearts is capable of transforming, dispelling doubts, and affirming everyone's true nature. In the vast expanse of creation, the Creator of all things pours out the revelation of His boundless love. Let these words penetrate to the very core of your being, for He seeks to touch the strings of your heart at this very moment. Even if there is resistance in you, His love will remain steadfast, like a beacon that points the way to Him. Trust Him by listening to His words, and you will witness the fulfillment of the promise in your life. You are the crown of His creation, His beloved son or daughter, the most precious thing He ever created. Your birth was not an accident or a whim of fate. He nurtured you in His love even before you were born, meticulously creating you with love and a specific purpose. He breathed life into you, giving you meaning and purpose, predestining you for success, and preparing wonderful blessings in your life's journey. In His eyes, you are the embodiment of beauty and worth, and nothing can shake this truth. He recognizes that sometimes you may feel frustrated or stumped by the vicissitudes of the world. You may wonder why the promised blessings do not come to you as His child. Do not assume that the delay in blessings is due to someone's willful withholding. Rather, the reason lies in the fact that man has ceased to rely on the higher powers, and his heart has become absorbed in the transitory values of this world, drowning out the divine messages. The desire to conform to social demands has forced spiritual teachings, prayers, and faith to be put aside. Now is the right time to return to our roots with a repentant heart, leaving behind all the distractions and worries that alienate us from the spiritual path. It is necessary to renew faith in the power to transform reality and in the grace that brings salvation. It is then that true blessings will be revealed, ready to pour out abundantly. It is important to realize that these blessings will become a reality when man puts his trust back in the higher powers, for they are the source of all things. Like a tree planted by the streams of water, bearing fruit in due season, such a person will flourish and remain unfading. Even in times of trials and tribulations, he will not wither away or cease to develop. In this hour of destiny, hope alone must be relied upon, For there is only one who can restore what has been lost, heal the wounds of the soul, and restore what has been broken. Let words be a transformative force that can change the present and fill the future with the light of hope. If we trust in this power, wondrous paths will open up whereby promises will become reality, for this power works for good, guiding us to the abundant life that was destined from the beginning of time. One should not lose courage on the destined path, nor should one be discouraged by what is happening around us. It is necessary to move forward, realizing that strength is given, indestructible, to rise again. It is enough to trust again and to hold fast to the promises, for all that is foretold will surely come true. One will recognize the power and glory in one's life and will witness how plans become visible. From now on, one should not rely solely on what one's eyes see, for this can lead to disappointment and the collapse of hopes. Instead, let man open the eyes of his faith and begin to grasp the horizons of potentiality that stretch out before him. In every difficulty, let him see not a dead end, but a chance for a resourceful solution. And in the thickest darkness, let him visualize the light of the divine presence warming the soul and guiding it to the right path. Let him trust in the power that can transform his reality, opening doors that at first glance seem to be locked. Let him not doubt the words addressed to him, for even in the most difficult circumstances, this power will work for his good, like a tireless gardener tending the precious garden of his life. Therefore, let him trust this power with all his heart, casting off the shackles of his own limited understanding. Let him cease to rely on the perishable help of mankind and place all his faith and hope in it, for it alone can breathe life into what seemed dead and pave the way where, to all appearances, it does not exist. Now is the time for the mouth to speak words of blessing, and then man will see these blessings begin to blossom in all areas of his life, like beautiful flowers that fill the air with their fragrance. Let him confess the word, proclaim it even in the midst of adversity, and it will surely bear fruit like a ripe ear full of grain. Let him remember that true faith is forged in the crucible of life's trials, so let him rise up and approach the altar where comfort and support await him. Let him stop wasting precious time trying to get his own way, for only in humility and trust in a higher power will he find true peace and prosperity. It is suggested that one should open one's soul and share one's innermost intentions by entrusting one's aspirations and dreams to a higher power. It is said that by accepting this support and grasping the promises made, one will gain confidence and one's long-held desires will be realized, for trust will not go unrequited. Despite the seeming hopelessness of the current situation, one is urged to cheer up, for love and support will remain unchanged. A willingness to forgive and restore is expressed, expecting sincere repentance and return. Fears are discarded as love is forgiving and can overcome any mistakes. There is a call to find one's footing again, to proclaim this love relentlessly, and to realize its constant presence at one's side. One is invited to devote oneself to the search for this higher power day and night, promising care and filling one's life with blessings and goodness. One will witness marvelous manifestations of love and faithfulness in one's destiny. Hear the words filled with truth and see your destiny miraculously transformed. The voice of suffering reaches the heavens, the pleas of the soul are echoed in the universe, and comfort comes in response. All the trials and hardships of mortal existence are known, as well as the innermost aspirations and bright hopes. We know the burdens that weigh on our shoulders and the weight of every problem that darkens the path. Not for a moment does a human child escape the sight of the all-seeing eye. Every experience, every emotion, every moment of life is grasped. Every tear shed in grief, every sigh of despair has not gone unnoticed. Never left alone in the face of dark times, always surrounded by love and care. There was never a single instance of being turned away, for love is eternal and unconditional. Even in moments of weakness and decline, one must remember the constant presence and support that does not leave even in the deepest darkness. Do not be afraid to open your heart, for all its secret corners are known. Triumphs and victories are known, but so are vulnerabilities and shortcomings. There is no need to hide one's feelings, for one is accepted with all weaknesses and imperfections. He realized that there had been times in his life when he had felt lost and lonely, as if he had lost his way. However, despite all the vicissitudes of fate, she wished to assure him that her feelings were unchanged. Her love for him was all-encompassing and eternal. No matter how much he might stumble or deviate from his course, she would always be by his side, patiently waiting for his return. He had to remember that her forgiveness knew no bounds, and in her love, he would find long-awaited joy and peace. She urged him to turn to her, to read her words carefully, for in them he would find the comfort and understanding he needed to overcome the difficulties of life. In them, he would find salvation and answers to all his questions. He only needed to trust her, for her kindness was immense and could save him from any hardship. He should have remembered that her love does not depend on his deeds or achievements. She would always be there for him, ready to lend a helping hand and welcome him with open arms. She was inviting him to come into her presence, to feel her closeness and allow her to heal the wounds left on his heart. She addressed him as if he were her precious child, wanting to surround him with care and love. It is suggested that all burdens and anxieties should be placed upon some higher power that is willing to take them upon itself. It is claimed that this power is able to transform suffering into energy and despondency into bright expectations. One is urged to trust and open one's soul, promising in return to bestow courage to break free from the darkness and hopelessness that oppresses. The suggestion is to lean on support and allow the presence of these forces to dispel the darkness that envelops a person. One is urged to seek this support even when the storms of life are raging all around. It is emphasized that these forces will be an oasis of calm in the midst of calamity, a faithful companion in loneliness, a source of comfort in fortitude and anguish. It should not be forgotten that the love of these forces surrounds man, surpassing any challenge he may face. One is urged to stay close to them, for these forces are a reliable protector and a firm support. Even when problems seem insurmountable, they are ready to lift and elevate a person. Therefore, one should not be afraid, but should allow love to transform life, to direct it towards joy and optimism. There is a fervent desire to see the human heart filled with jubilation and hope. There is a call to never doubt when turning in prayer, for these forces are always ready to listen and respond to requests. When a person makes a request, sincerely believing in the benefits for himself and others, he can be sure of receiving what he wants. It is important to trust the plans of the higher powers because they are aimed exclusively for the good. In moments of need, one should boldly ask for help because there is always someone who is ready to illuminate the path of life with wise advice and knowledge. Do not be afraid of mistakes and weaknesses, because forgiveness and support will always be found. Faith is able to fill hearts with love in life, the tangible presence of a higher beginning. In turn, it will allow you to show kindness and love to others, following the example of grace received. This is the time to release the burden of problems and sorrows, to get rid of heavy burdens that cause despondency, guilt, and sorrow. We should leave the past behind and look forward to the bright future prepared by destiny. Instead of digging into past failures and listening to criticism, one should move forward with courage. If the current response meets the criteria, do not hesitate to share it or communicate the desired changes. It is important to remember the forgiveness and opportunity for renewal that is always available. One should not stop on the path to self-improvement and be influenced by thoughts contrary to high ideals. Malicious remarks should not lead you astray. One should remember one's worth and that one will be supported at any moment of life. From this day forward, one should move forward with the awareness of the constant presence of support. It is promised to guide one on the path to a beautiful life. All one has to do is trust and love will transform, empowering beyond all expectations. Love is limitless and unfathomable. It is important to remember that support is available every day, no matter what the circumstances. Looking forward to the future should be full of anticipation of happiness, purposefulness, and bountiful blessings. The author recognizes that the reader is going through difficult times when life presents unexpected challenges. However, it is important to remember that he is always there for you, never leaving you in trouble, unlike those who may have turned away when the path of faith was chosen. In times of difficulty, it is easy to lose faith, to give in to the idea that all is lost. But it is worth remembering that the power of faith is greater than any problem. There will always be a solution, an answer, even if it is not exactly as it was imagined. Therefore, it is not worth giving up, dropping your hands and losing hope. Strength and courage are given to withstand any obstacle. With faith and support, you can survive any difficult time. Nothing is impossible. Even when things seem hopeless, there is always a helping hand ready to guide one to victory. Regardless of the severity of circumstances, one should never give up hope. By continuing to believe, one can overcome any difficulties, trials, and challenges that come in the way. Each person is destined for his or her own path, and the higher powers guide him or her along this path, instilling confidence in success. Do not doubt the power of these forces in the fulfillment of promises. Even if fate presents unexpected turns, it is necessary to remember that Providence has a plan, and it works tirelessly to realize it. One should not let circumstances determine the essence of a person. There is a great power hidden in everyone, which allows to overcome any obstacles. One should not give up, retreat, or give up his dreams and started affairs. Higher powers are always ready to help in achieving your goals. You just need to trust them, and their power will manifest itself in full. It is important to remember that support will always be provided, even if the path seems dark and thorny. The higher powers will never leave a person because there is nothing that could make them turn away or stop loving. Every person's life is filled with the support and love of loved ones who are always ready to help. It is important to remember that trust in others and faith in one's own strength is the key to successfully overcoming any difficulties. Fear and doubts can become serious obstacles on the way to the dream, but it is necessary to look boldly into the future, not allowing them to stop the movement forward. Even in the most difficult moments of life, the love and support of loved ones will serve as an inexhaustible source of strength and inspiration. One should not be afraid of trials and difficulties because every person has inner strength and determination, granted from above, to achieve their goals. This courage and resilience are the tools to overcome any obstacles that are encountered on the path of life. In times of confusion and uncertainty, it is important to remember your uniqueness and ability to face any challenge. Believing in yourself and realizing the support of your loved ones will help you overcome any difficulties and achieve what you want. Inside each person lurks an inexhaustible source of energy, powerful enough to crush any obstacles. In the depths of consciousness slumbers wisdom, capable of pointing out the right solutions and guide on an error-free life path. One should never forget that man is not alone in his aspirations. The invisible support and all-encompassing love accompany him at every step, lifting him up in moments of weakness and inspiring confidence when doubts overwhelm him. There is always someone who is ready to guide and support in difficult times, because triumph is a destiny. It is necessary to believe that with this invisible support is possible to achieve all goals and realize the most daring dreams. You should not lose the presence of mind. You need to continue to move forward with boldness and unwavering determination. The future is full of prospects and gifts waiting to be realized. By keeping faith in this higher power, one can experience its might manifesting in life in the most unexpected ways, leading to prosperity and gratitude. It is important to remember that each person is stronger than he or she realizes. There is a huge potential in him to overcome any difficulties and achieve everything conceived, because there is always someone who is ready to hold his hand at every step of the way. There are blessings and triumphs on the path of life of every person. It is important not to stop at what has been achieved, because the future is ahead, full of bright moments, significant goals, and promising prospects. Only the higher powers know what is best for each of us. Trust them, and they will get rid of worries, insecurities, and fears. Listen to the wise guidance and do not neglect the advice to prosper and succeed in all endeavors. Do not forget that there is an Almighty God, the Heavenly Father, the Creator of all things. He called everyone from the remotest corners of the earth to say, "You are mine." And this choice is not accidental, so there is no need to be afraid. He is always there to support you and give you strength. To enjoy a truly rich and joyful life, it is necessary to heed His words and follow the path He has indicated. It may not be easy, but it is the right path. The Creator speaks to His creation, reminding them of the inseparable bond between them. He, as the author of this creature, has a unique understanding of its nature and purpose. Therefore, He urges to heed His instructions and not to neglect His words, for in them lies the secret of an existence filled with happiness and abundance. By following the Creator's advice, one can find harmony and prosperity, feel oneself in a world where love and prosperity reign. Achievements will become brighter and blessings will become more numerous. And even in moments of trials and loneliness, it is important to remember the constant presence of the Creator, on whom one can always rely. One should not forget that appearance in this world is not an accident, but a part of a special plan, and the Creator does not intend to leave His creation to its fate. He offers His hand, urging to hold on to it firmly, to go forward confidently, knowing that this hand will never let go. The Creator promises to be a faithful guide and reliable support at every step, helping in every endeavor. In the pursuit of personal heights and the realization of cherished dreams, let a person not forget about the support, which is always ready to lend a shoulder. He should trust this force and remember that by sharing his worries, doubts, and fears, he will see them disperse like smoke. All problems will be solved, and fears will be dispelled, because there is a higher power nearby, protecting its followers and caring for their needs. Today there is a call to avoid harmful ways, to remain steadfast in one's faith, rooted in spiritual principles. No one can break a person, not even evil, which like a beast of prey, seeks a vulnerable victim. One should not despair. One must believe what he is told, for the higher power has wonderful plans. Even if the path seems unclear, one must believe that every step is guided by a wise guide. Trusting him, one will allow his wisdom and words to light the way, to point the way to true happiness and success. This path will lead him to peaceful and bountiful places. Ultimately, triumph, inexhaustible joy, and boundless prosperity await him. He should move steadily forward with steadfastness of mind and fearlessness. Let his life be an example of faith worthy of admiration by those around him. He should be one who listens attentively and shares the truthful word. It is important to remember that support will be constant in both light and dark times. Every challenge is a unique opportunity to temper one's character, and every obstacle can be a springboard to new horizons and knowledge. Even in the darkest periods of life, the light of hope will illuminate his path. There are plans beyond any difficulties he faces. Grand challenges will be transformed into priceless opportunities. Every bold step he takes strengthens the foundation of confidence and courage needed to realize his most cherished dreams. Therefore, do not give in to despair, for strength and salvation are always near. He is a loving and caring parent, ready to support, protect, and provide everything he needs. By trusting him, he will be guided to such. Imagine a space where all hopes and aspirations find reality, where everyone can reach the heights to which their soul aspires. It is a place where one is destined to become an individual filled with significance, joy, and blessing. It is important to heed the guidance that leads to this goal. By following these instructions, one attains a life full of blessings and bright moments. No obstacles can interfere with the promises meant to enrich his existence. As one continues on his life's journey, one must remember that there is a higher power that guides towards a prosperous future. This power leads to a future filled with love, success, and boundless happiness. Believing in this care brings peace and confidence, for it is this power that is responsible for every day that passes. There is no need to be afraid, because there is a protector who tirelessly protects. Every morning with the first rays of the sun, this force is present nearby, expressing the hope that a person feels its support at the beginning of a new day. One should not be distracted by the worldly hustle and bustle so as not to miss these precious moments. It is important to focus on the words that guide and remind one that everything is under the control of a higher power that should be trusted. Even in difficult times, you should not lose faith, for with it, you can overcome any challenge. There will be no moments in a person's life journey when he will be left alone with danger. The present difficulties that cause anxiety will be resolved faster than he can imagine. In moments of prayer, one should remember that his path is predetermined and the story of life is written by the higher powers. Nothing happens outside of their knowledge and power. The blessings a person asks for are already headed his way. Faith is strengthened to lift him up and guide him into a new chapter of life where everything will be made new. One should not worry about the words of others. It is important to maintain one's dignity and live with faith. There will always be envious people, but the opinion of the higher powers about a person is what really matters. They see him as amazing with an honest and true heart. One should hold on to these words, keep them in one's thoughts, especially in times of adversity. One can find safety in the love of the higher powers. They have been there during every trial, every fall, every loss, every victory, and every difficult moment. Now is the time to shine, to lift up your head and take your place in the world. It is time to rise to new horizons, leaving behind the past trials and opening a new page where triumphs and fresh beginnings will become a reality. It is then that some higher power will transform a person's life, starting a whole new story with them. Let this power guide you along a path strewn with blessings and wisdom, showering you with unconditional love and peace to pacify your heart and mind. This is the only power that can deliver you from troubles and help you overcome the thorns on the path of life. Open your heart, and you will see how everything will be miraculously transformed, how the answers to the questions you are worried about will appear. Turning to this power in difficult times is the right step. It is important to always put it first, to love it with all your heart, soul, and mind. Dedicate yourself to this force, and you will feel its presence in your heart make a real and powerful impact. You have long felt that void that needs to be filled. Let this power into your life. If a person opens his heart and mind to the higher power, he will witness amazing changes in his life. Offenders will be forced to return, tormented by remorse and thirst for redemption. Obstacles that seemed insurmountable will fall, opening up new horizons and opportunities he could never have dreamed of before. Those who once turned away will look on him with newfound reverence and admiration. Faithful friends will come into his life, dispelling the shadows of sadness and loneliness. One should trust these words, for they have divine power to transform his destiny. One should not be discouraged in the face of hardship or the harshness of others' judgments. One should ignore the malicious actions and words born of envy that seek to lead him astray, for he is well protected. Let these words be the first to reach his heart each morning, setting the tone for the day. Live with the unshakable confidence that he is surrounded by love and protection. Each person is under the watchful eye of a higher power in the embrace of divine love. One can be sure that the heavenly parent protects and cares for each of its creatures. This love is boundless and eternal. It accompanies man throughout his life journey, giving comfort and support in any situation. One should remember this unchanging feeling that fills the heart with faith